Failure is not an option. Those are the words that I heard last night before I was going to bed. So I wrote them down because I was hearing them. That's that intuition, something you hear. I gotten into the habit of writing it down and knowing that eventually it's going to make sense to me or it will show up somehow. We've always heard that thing about trust yourself, listen to your intuition, follow your heart. That was even a song I wrote, but we don't always do that. I didn't do it a lot. And so, but when I heard failure is not an option, and then I got up this morning and I saw the world and a message I was given on this date 3 years ago, I thought, oh, I guess that means I'm supposed to stop failing. See, the only reason we experience any kind of failure in our lives is because we're not moving in the direction of who we're meant to become. We're not honoring our authentic selves. We haven't accepted that yet, which is an ongoing process. It's a lifelong process because we're always moving into higher dimensions of understanding or of awakening within us as long as we're in our bodies in physical form. And our hope then is that we're going to live these really great lives and then leave something for others because that's how evolution works. I was listening to a little bit more about Matthew Perry, the actor from Friends, who died the other day. And that really struck me because what he said he didn't even want to be remembered for Friends. He wanted to be remembered for what he went through with his with the drug addiction, and he was helping others to understand that. And I thought, wow. And he's gone though, but I still have time, you see, because I can still leave my legacy. And that's what I knew I had to do now. And that's why failure is not an option. When you look at the world and you wonder what's going on, or you look at your life, it's because you haven't taken the next step to understand who you are. All of us. It's a collective experience that we have. So when I read the message, and we'll dive into it because I want to read it so you will understand, because it kind of pretty much explain what's happening in our world now, what's probably happening in your life, because we're all evolving, we're all being moved in some way. That's why it looks incredibly frightening and uncomfortable. But when you take the steps into that journey of self-discovery, self-actualization, you see things in a new way. But we have to become willing to do that. And I had to become willing as well. So this is the message, and let's read it together. And I'll go over it. August 30th, 2020. Now you can. This message will be one of our best, and those of you who pay close attention will find comfort you sought as you move through the coming months of your lives. We apologize in advance for the length of this message. That is coming from Roger, as he still holds this idea he is infringing on others. He will get over it eventually. We have continually said that you are individually and collectively moving through a global restructuring, but the place where that is most crucial is within you. When you awakened today, you saw the conditions of your world. You may have thought things were in complete chaos, yet we look at them and see perfection. That perfection exists within your life, but you have to be the one to decide to restructure. We had tied this restructuring to the United States, and we will continue to do so. The slogan, "Yes, we can," was coined by the former US President, Barack Obama. None of you believed you could. We are speaking not of the election itself, but something that was within you. When Roger heard those words, he did not think that a Black person could become president of the United States. Roger found it challenging to see beyond his current state of existence, and that is occurring for you now. But once you understand why, you will feel better. Roger vividly remembers when he became aware of his held limitations when the candidate won the Iowa primary. Many did not think that was possible. We are providing details for when you put them together, you might not be as frightened as you are now. Now, the election of Obama set into motion a collective fear that had festered for eons. You each began to think that due to this global shift, which it was, you thought you might lose something. So divisions amongst the masses grew, but that division has existed within you. You might think that the campaign slogans are meaningless, but that signals the difficulty many of you have experienced in your life. You want to pick and choose what you feel is meaningful, and then you discount those things you either don't understand or choose to ignore. The other campaign slogans are telling as well. You had Make America Great Again, and now you have Build Back Better. None of them have any meaning until you apply them to your lives personally, which we will do now. You have come to erroneously believe that if you hang on to who you were, you can maintain a feeling of safety and security. You doubt whether or not you can build something better because you may not have accomplished that in your life. And now we bring you to the point of the story. And of course, we will use Roger as the example. Roger's hypocrisy got him last night, as it will for many of you as you move through this period. In Roger's talk the other day, he told the attendees that none of them had meaningless experiences. Even the painful, uncomfortable, or embarrassing ones held such great value, not only for you, but all others. But he was not doing that, as you have yet to do that thing in your life entirely. Yesterday, Roger had the idea to record and send a video, of course, prompted by us, as he had no idea what he was doing. When he recorded the footage, Roger acknowledged his guilt, as Roger felt he might have done more to help others at this time, for Roger received information from us that was comforting, but he was unwilling to share it with others for fear of judgment. Now he's over that one as he sent the video, but it gets better. Last night, his former roommate calls and in physical distress and wants Roger to pick him up. At that moment, Roger was in the grocery store, but also knew he was supposed to get him, for that is part of Roger's path in this lifetime. He feared, as each of you feared something in yours. Roger also knew he had been provided information on this particular condition because Roger experienced it and knew that not many in the world would understand this. Still, Roger was unwilling to step up to the plate. Now he can no longer do so, and his restructuring is moving along nicely. We told you some time ago that you would find your purpose when you stopped running from yourself, and all else would be added to you, which will occur, which is why you decided to be alive during this time. And as we said, you will be fine. It has always been challenging for me to explain to others or to talk about my program in ways that people could understand it, because of the way that I have spent the last 35 years or more actually receiving information and transforming my life. I wrote it all down, and many people have come to this information because it's all mindset, it's all consciousness. And when we move through the limitations that we all have, then we start to live great lives. And then we start to understand how our world is created. When we're able to move through our held limitations, restrictions, judgments, prejudices, all those things, and find our life purpose and live that, we're putting a different energy into the world. And we all have the ability to do that. But sometimes it's challenging. See, I didn't know that I had created all of this information. I didn't know that I was given your life operating instructions, which is a full program, but I have that. It could transform anyone's life. I took the 2021, you will see this. I just put a few people into 31 days of a program, and they were transformed in that. But now where I'm at is I stopped. We all stop at some point because I still kept testing. I can no longer do that. I know what's happening in our world. I know how long we're going to be moving through this. We're not going to end the wars tomorrow. None of that happens. But what we do is make it better by deciding to own who we are, live our life purpose, and give back to others so that we create a much better world. Because we all have these things within us that have been holding us back, and they're generational. The things that you are witnessing occurring in the world are very old beliefs that people are still fighting about. And unless we come to understand our oneness with source, with God, with all that is, we don't change anything. And that's with each person. And I've been given a plan. And I was, I said a long time ago, and I knew that people couldn't hear this. I said, if I were charging $5,000, you'd probably get it, because he would like to suffer a little bit more. If it has to be really uncomfortable for you to pay for it, then you might do it. And I'm going to change that. That's what I'm going to do, because I can no longer do what I'm doing and holding back. And my birthday is on Thursday. I turned 73 then. There's no reason I should even still be alive with everything that I've gone through. But I'm going to make sure that I'm going to leave this work. But I invite you to check out 4 Weeks to Your Best Life, because that's open this week, and I'm going to still leave that. And I'm thrilled with the people who are there, who are doing incredible work, and they're going to be the ones who are going to change everything. They're already doing it in their lives, but I know that they will do that in our world as well. Because see, there's no reason for us to be angry. There's no reason for us to not love who we are. There's no reason for us to not love others, except that we have old things within us that we have become unwilling to move beyond. And this becomes challenging, even when we know. So when when you don't own your life purpose, that's when things get really difficult. But it is challenging sometimes to get there, because I've been receiving this for so long, but telling people about it, that they're not going to get it. But now I have the proof, because so many people, I've changed so many lives, and I can say that because I've seen it, and you've all seen it, and I've known that, and they tell me. But I don't typically talk about it, but now I must, because I'm going to have to kick back. First of all, I haven't finished the work that I'm doing, and my clients are a little upset with me, so I have to go back to finishing all my content, because I have a lot of it, taking people to their career, taking them to understanding their right place, their soul mission, because that's what this work does. It connects you to your soul mission, why you are on this earth. That's what it does, because then you feel motivated. You never worry about what you're going to do the next day, because you're excited to get up. But that's a process of working through the mental programming, conditioning that's always been there. I didn't know that I was using neuroscience when I was doing this work for all these years. That didn't even register in my consciousness. I knew nothing about it, but that's exactly what I've done. And if you listen to some of the other people, and I'm so grateful that I have been able to bring this forth now, but you listen to some of the other people who have done this, you will understand. But what I want to say is that please understand that the best thing, that whether you do my work or not, that's up to you, because I don't sell this anymore, because you have to come into it. I can never sell this, because you have to want to do it. You have to want to become happy, successful, find your purpose, live it, love yourself. You have to want that. Otherwise, you keep doing the same thing that you've always been doing. This is why that my longer program I called Your Last Development Program, because I knew you wouldn't need anything else if you just did the work. And listen, I got to say this too, because this came up a couple days ago. Several people who did the first part of the 4 Weeks to Your Best Life are now starting again. They're going back and doing, because you have the option to do that, because they know that once you move through certain things, more comes up. You continually evolve. That's what we all do, but not everyone's going to do that in this world. And this is why it's going to be a while before we move through this period. I said it's going to be a little more than a year. And this, you can check all the science on this to understand. It's all energy. If when we come to understand that, we control our lives much better, we can become happier, and we can move through things. But it's just a process. That's all it is. And my work is about self-actualization, self-empowerment, giving you the tools to understand who you are, move through any difficulty, achieve the kind of success that you want to have, and come to love yourself. That's all that it is. No one does anything any differently, because all we have is our consciousness.